team reach out to the student body and let their voices be heard? Start with group 2.
Okay, just like it says in our platform, we want to put the student back in student government. One of the biggest ways that we want to do this is communication. Communication is so key between student government and the student body, and that's one of the ways we really want to bridge the students and student government. So one of the ways we want to do is something along the lines of a newsletter or something monthly or every 2 weeks to tell students what SGA is doing, because a lot of students really don't know what SGA is doing, therefore they might not kind of support the things as much. And so some kind of newsletter with different events going on, different, it's Diversity Week, things like that, all these different things to let the student body know what SGA is doing and what they're doing for them. Another thing is just having SGA's presence in and around campus. So having executive members of the executive staff show up to different events, or have different senators come out and support athletics, or all of SGA sit together at a Tarleton basketball game, or do all these different types of things to really show that SGA is not only here, but we're here to help you. But how can SGA help you if you don't know who they are, if you don't know where they stand? And so that's really a big deal. It's just getting the presence of SGA out there and letting each and every student see, okay, they're here to help us.
Have your voice heard. That is our slogan. So the student body's voice, it's what we built our foundation on. Like I said earlier, we went to you, so it gives us joy to what the student body we love. We built our platform off y'all. To build on that, Jay has brought up from wearing bright shirts to bright shoes. Like, we want you to know who we are. As Chance said, I'm a journalism broadcasting major, and we are also planning on bringing a newsletter and also a broadcast. This newsletter, I plan to point out like what's going on, maybe give Tarleton history, but for the students to know, and the broadcast to follow that. Jay brought up maybe a chalkboard outside the SGA office where y'all could express your concerns or ideas, or we could do polls. The most important thing to us is to listen to the students, because as student government, we work for you.
Like I said before, Charlie and I have worked very hard to maintain, and then next year our intention would be to restructure the House of Representatives, because we feel that that is the place where students' voices can be heard the best. Right now we understand that the House is not as functional as it should be, but with restructuring, the House could be a very effective tool for making sure that every organization's voice is heard. The important point of the House is that every organization has a say if they choose to take that responsibility, if they choose to represent themselves in the House of Representatives. Within the House of Representatives, one of the restructurings that we'd like to do is to make it so that any organization that sends a representative, their representative must already be an officer in their organization. Because if you care enough to run for office in your organization, you care enough to go to one extra meeting a week. We feel that it's really important to keep the House of Representatives so that students can continue to express their opinions and their concerns to us, rather than us expressing what SGA is doing to them. It's very important for student government to have social media and to have newsletters and to have output to the student government, but it's just as important for student government to accept every form of input from the students, because every student should be looked at as a leader on campus. And the House of Representatives is one of the places where every student gets the option to be a leader.
Our sixth question is, Stephenville Connect is an initiative that SGA created this year to promote community involvement within Charleston. What will you do as a team to continue the positive relations created with the community of Stephenville?
Jay's really big on keeping the connection with the community. He wants reps at the city council meetings, because what affects Stephenville affects Tarleton, and what affects Tarleton affects Stephenville. So we need that connection. We also, I was part of the exec team for Alternative Spring Break, and we donated our spring break to go to Biloxi, Mississippi, and we did community service. A group there brought up homeless awareness, and I brought that back here. You've seen there's homeless people here, but there isn't much support for them, and I thought it'd be great for something student government to target to help the community be with.
the roller derby team in Stephenville has a lot of connections. They are a nonprofit, so they work with different philanthropies and organizations around Stephenville, like the Cross Timbers Pregnancy Care Center and the Fine Arts Council, and they've expanded to Brownwood, so there are some charities that they work with there as well. We also work with a foster home here in Stephenville. That's given me a really good first-hand look at the different opportunities there are for student involvement, for community involvement from Tarleton within Stephenville. Stephenville has not just this opportunity, but also an obligation to help out with these different social programs available in Stephenville. So Charlie and I would very much like to increase the program, the Stephenville Connect that was started this year is a great program, and we'd love to expand that. I know that it was piloted with a couple of different groups. We'd like to expand it so that they can reach out to more of those organizations so that we can cement the bond between Stephenville and Tarleton.
Chance and I very much also support being present in the community. This year, along with implementing Stephenville Connect, we also became a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We really feel that it is SGA's job to build connections with businesses across Stephenville. It's our job to represent Tarleton in the community. And we would love to walk into any place and see Bleed Purple written on the wall, but we don't have that right now. And we want to help build that by creating those relationships with businesses, by keeping Stephenville Connect, keeping it up. And we watched it come to fruition this year in our exec council. We saw how much work Anthony Linder put into it, and we want to see it continue. We want to help foster its growth. Along with that, we've also done a lot of service for the community. Chance was on ASV exec and helped last year with helping in Stephenville, so they did on spring break, and this year we went to Biloxi, and I went on the trip as well. And then I'm also on the Roundup coordinating committee. So we've seen how Stephenville needs help, and we certainly plan to combat it in any way possible and build those relationships with the community.
Currently, what is the biggest struggle SGA has? How do you look to fix it?
Serving as your standby vice president, I feel holding our student government accountable is a really big issue right now. And in addition to those chamber bylaws that we need to get rid of, I mean, executive council and judiciary having bylaws, I feel that's a big issue right there. And, you know, I want to get that fixed. And implementing that standing bylaws for me to do that, I feel it's the best way to do that. But, you know, I feel it's very important to be keeping your student government accountable. And it's just the fact that right now, if a president, vice president got elected, they could say, hey, we don't want an executive council. There's no bylaws saying that you need one. Although Emirates and I would really like to keep an executive council, we just need to get those bylaws written for it.
And group two.
Okay, so the question is, what is SGA's biggest struggle? SGA's biggest struggle is hearing the voice of the students and relaying that to administration. It's been worked on, but it's not there yet. And so you need a president and vice president that's going to go out and actively seek that participation from each and every student and figure out the things that they need and the things that they want to see done. And at the same time, they need to be able to take that to administration and not beg or plead for our way, but make sure administration knows where the students stand on certain things and how the students feel about certain things that way, and work with administration to really see things done.
Right now, student government's biggest issue, I think me and Jay would agree on, is hearing from the students, going to the students. With student government, your voice is what matters the most. And student government hasn't, they've started, but they haven't reached it fully to grasp everyone's opinion. House was almost taken away, and to me, that's your voice. And student government, I don't think realize that. But also, with your voice, we're here to listen to what you have to say. And I think Jay has brought up many ideas on reaching you, the students. Like I said, eating with lunch with y'all once a week. It's just getting out there to knowing y'all. And me and Jay are friendly people, and we've been in many organizations, and we know y'all, and we're here just to do the best we can for you. So the biggest issue, I think, is just hearing y'all's voice and knowing that y'all matter.
And would any groups like to have their
Charlie and I absolutely agree that the point of student government is to have the students' voices heard. Absolutely. They should have a venue and a forum to do that through student government, but that is the purpose of student government, and that shouldn't be its biggest issue. The biggest issue that Charlie and I see is that currently there's no written way for students to do that. We don't have a complete set of documents outlining how students reach the administration, outlining how the students' relays to the administration should complete their job.
Any other groups? Who was first? Rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors? All right.
Me and Jay want to be there on the first day of school of Tarleton, greeting you back here, meeting the new freshmen. Me and Jay, with the newsletter, the broadcast, we have all these great ideas to connect to you, the students. And so we already envision a future of connection to student, because like I said again, student government works for the students. So if you elect us, we are there to represent you and to voice your opinions, and we'll be out there getting your thoughts.
SGA, at the end of the day, is a lot more than constitutions or bylaws or any of these different things. Those documents are much needed and really appreciated, and it really helps structure SGA, but SGA needs to be about making relationships with students, because those relationships are those are the things that you're gonna feel confident in, and those are being confident in relationships with people in SGA. Those are the things that are gonna allow you to feel comfortable saying, hey, I see this, and this should be looked at being changed. And those are the things that we really want to focus on.
Thank you, groups, and thank you whoever came up with that question.